The matter with life seems to be something that has become a bit complicated and somehow too complex to interpret, especially because sometimes what works for one person does not work for the other. And it seems like there is no general rule for things in life anymore. And you look at the matters with words that are said to be inspired by God, like the Bible, and the things in the scriptures are written in black and white. But then it seems like it's becoming a bit more difficult to just apply those things as they are in black and white. And then you begin to hear things like, that is your truth. This is my own truth. The same word spoken under the same inspiration of the Spirit of God has different interpretation. But the real issue behind all these multiple layers of understanding is that we know things, but we don't seem to understand the things that we know. It's a different thing to know something. The knowledge of something is basically that you have an insight into how that thing is, into what is, how it is working, why it is working, where it is working, when it is working. You can apply all your questions to that thing, and when all the questions are asked, you have the answers. But it's a different thing to say that that thing is understood. So, for example, someone may have all the knowledge of architecture, which is knowledge of how to put together a space for the purpose or for a particular purpose that is set by the owner. But to understand that architecture requires much more than understanding how to put a floor, a wall, a roof, and claddings on them, and then finishing and furnishing. It is way more than how to put those things. Understanding how each of those nitty-gritty details work into each other, fits into each other, and produce the final result is what understanding is really about. There was once a king. This king was said to be the emperor of a kingdom, of an empire, a very big empire that stretches across the whole length of the breadth of the earth. His name was Nebuchadnezzar. He was so powerful. He had so many kings under his command, subjected to him. But then, it didn't take so long before he and God were not on the same page. And God had to humble him because of his pride. Now, what God did to him was that God sent him into the wild to live like a beast for 7 years. In those 7 years, he had to eat like a beast, a regular animal. He had to, all the weather, the hot, the cold, the summer, and the winter, everything was on him for those 7 years. He ate from places he least imagined he could ever eat. And then at the end of that 7th year, the Bible said, he said himself, and when my understanding returned to me, I took note that God is the one who rules in the affairs of men. So it simply means when a man or woman, a boy or a girl is devoid of understanding, he or she will be living at a standard lower than that of man, of humans. He will be living like a beast. Have you ever had someone describe someone as an animal, or someone operating or behaving in a manner that is less than expected of a human being? That simply means the person is lacking in understanding. So what does it mean to understand a thing? What does it mean to not just know things or know people, but to understand these things? That's what this whole contemplation from the book titled Of Things Omitted is about. It is those details about life, bringing understanding to the things that we know. Sometimes, if not most of the time, our problem is not that we lack knowledge. You will agree with me that the Bible says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. Yes, people can escape perishing when they know. But it is possible for them to continue to live lower than the standard that they were made to live if they lack understanding. There's that very popular part in the Bible that speaks about, for all have sinned and have come short of the glory of the Lord. They have sinned and have come short of the glory of the Lord. What that simply means is that sin itself is living below the standard, below the mark that God has called everyone to live in. If you do not have understanding, I'm afraid you are going to be living on a standard that is lower than that which God has made for you. And that is what this whole contemplation is all about. I invite you to follow me through as we go step by step, looking at the different areas and facets of life. And I'm trusting that by the time we are through with this, not only will you have better understanding on who you are, you will understand better what you are, you will understand better where you are, you will understand better why the things that are in your life are the way they are. And not only that, you would also understand better how to get to where you want to be or where God has designed you to be in life. As we do this journey together, I invite you to not just listen or just hear it or just enjoy the presentation. I want you to bring your heart and your mind and your soul and your body together so that when we go through this, you are not looking and seeing someone else. As we go through this contemplation together, you are seeing, first of all, yourself. Just in the same way I saw myself when I first came across some of the things I'm sharing in this book. Thank you very much, and God bless.